Are you the type of person who starts a Minecraft world, binges it for 2 weeks, and then gets bored around day 100? If so, then this video is for you. So Minecraft on its own is a very classic sandbox game. You build a house, you get a dog, you call it good, right? Wrong. So if you're the type of person who's looking to start a more long-term world, what some may call forever world, then I would like to give you some tips from someone who has a hardcore world that is on day 1665. Now, although my world is not as big or as long kept as many others, it is still a lot longer than I would have previously kept a world, and a lot of people have felt the same way. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is the pace at which you play the game. Now, if you come here to the start of my world, you'll notice that I have a very small and very modest, well, I have lots of dogs, but a very modest starter house. And my first tip for starting a more long-term world is to build exactly where you're at least when it comes to resources. Not so much where you actually live. Go find your dream biome. Now, I know the temptation to hop on a world and instantly make the largest iron farm that you have ever thought of, to speedrun the game, to get netherite armor, you know, all of the things. I understand the urge to do that, but it does in fact burn you out. So what I have done on this world is I built everything that I needed exactly when I needed it and to the size that I could. For example, an iron farm. This is a very classic, you know, boring, basic iron farm. But it was exactly what I needed and has continued to be, exactly what I need. The same can be said for my tiny little starter farm and my perfectly, totally humane cow barn that still to this day is the perfect size for me. If you come over here to my storage room, it is pretty much the same case. Now, I am running out of room here, and this is one of the things that I will be expanding soon, but this was what I needed at the time, and I even still have some space to expand. One of the things that I've been really careful to do in this world is to not burn myself out. I have taken on a lot of larger projects, some of which are not finished, which is totally fine with me. I do realize that I forgot to wax those. It's okay. But I've taken on big projects in this world, and I have paced myself by making sure that I always had other projects going on. For example, this is my axolotl pond that used to be a ravine. And now it is a place where all of my lovely axolotls, oh my goodness, that are named after my Twitch subs that are, oh gosh, but they all live in here, and this is something that I would have never wanted to do if it was the only project I was working on at a given time. Oh, let me take a nap and then we can continue. Currently in this world, I think I have a total of about 3 big projects that I am working on. So I am working on my axolotl museum over here, which is coming along quite well, but it is a large project, so it's taking me quite a while. And then I have the fishing village down here, which looks a little rough from the back, but I'll take you around on top of my lighthouse here to show you that it is actually coming along. Now, I have taken lots of breaks from these projects because although they are a bunch of smaller buildings, they all connect to a greater purpose that can get a little bit taxing after a while, which is why I have projects like this going on and like the expansion of my melon farm, which is down through here. Ow. Now, although these may not seem like the largest projects, it is very nice to have them all going on at once so that I always have something going on in my head, and if I don't feel particularly motivated to do one during the day, I can choose another one. Another example of a building exactly where I'm at is this lovely villager trading hall. Now, this was something that I actually did in this world without an elytra. Oh, don't worry about my villager. This was my first villager I had, and he got struck by lightning, which was super awesome. Ow. This is great. All right. Anyway, this is my villager trading hall that I shockingly did without an elytra. Oh my goodness. I did this without an elytra, which was kind of a crazy project to take on with all of the materials and the height. It was scaffolding. There was a lot of scaffolding. But regardless, this is a very highly designed and kind of not the most space efficient build that I've made. But I'll tell you what, why is he free? Who are you? What? I actually have no idea how he got there. But regardless, this was a build that was really fun and did take me quite a while to do on stream. But it was exactly what I needed at the time, and it still is something that I do use occasionally. It was exactly what I needed at the time for the villagers that I needed, and it works out perfectly. Now, I have needed some more villagers for a lot of different reasons, which is why they are in the shacks like this. Well, you know, One of them is. It's okay. But then coming over here, I also have my farmer's market, which is honestly one of my favorite areas that I've ever made in a Minecraft world because it's, you guessed it, not efficient, but it is exactly what I wanted, and it works for the projects that I am working on right now. Now, there are a couple of these guys who have better trades than others, so a lot of the times I do wait for them until I can get the other guys cured, but this is an area that could have definitely just been put underground just to make as much money as I could, and while certain people do like to play that way, I believe that if you are trying to keep a world long term, that is not sustainable. At least not for me. I would get burnt out and bored, but having a farmer's market that perfectly leads to a little seating area where my iron golems can have a lovely little date, and leading right to my melon farm, it gives my brain a lot to do. Oops. Didn't happen. This leads me into the last thing that I really want to talk about, but it is a big one, and that is filler builds. Now, a lot of times when you boot into a Minecraft world and your objective is to kind of just make things as efficient as you can and beat the game quickly, live in a dirt hut, make the most efficient farms as soon as you can, which might take you quite a while, you end up having builds that are just not connected in any way and can often just make things not seem worth playing. Because the biggest thing that I wanted to do in this world, since I challenged myself to wait until nearly day 1000 for an elytra, and this was a challenge, I definitely could have done it sooner, but it allowed me to make my world entirely walkable. And this is a perfect example of this. So what I needed this area to be was a place to have my mason villagers. Now I obviously do have a place for them that is, you know, it's pretty efficient. There's a lot of them in here, which is nice. And there is a basement floor that I expanded later with all these guys being fully maxed out, since I did need a lot of quartz for my axolotl museum. Now I could have just built this, again, underground, no decor, or even like this, with no other decor around it. But instead, I decided to make this a party area. Now, are any of these builds technically useful? No. But then again, why are we even playing Minecraft? I mean, they are things that do work. I mean, this works. It's a little, you know, it's a ride. But all of this right here was made, honestly, for the purpose of framing my masonry. Now I also made a point to connect this up to the top side of my base. That leads me to another perfect example of this, which is just an absolute filler of a probably plant shop, I would call this, which is right by my storage room, which also leads us down to another little seating area, which takes us right around to the front of our base, which takes us down to, oh, you guessed it, something that only a person without an elytra would do. I do not use this anymore. But boy was it nice when I did not have an elytra. Now this area does drop us off at something that I have not quite fully pathed out yet, but eventually it will lead us to this bridge, which once again is not necessarily a necessary bridge because I could have just filled it in, but it helps my brain kind of theme out the area and brings us down to what will be the fishing area. Oh my gosh, I'm starving. Now the bottom part of this village is not quite done, although we do have Gordon Ramsay, which, I mean, you could pretty much call it done after that. But we don't have this area fully done, and neither do we have the top side done, but there is something a little bit exciting up here that I would like to show you, and it is not my chest monster. Please don't look, don't look. But one of the things that I wanted to do in this bottom section was have all of these be kind of functional on the inside. Now, they might not actually be something that I need, but it does serve as a place to get on and off this minecart. Now that is a very short minecart ride, and it is something that I really, really wanted to frame this entire village with. So this right here is not going to be a massive part of what this entire build project will be, because I would like this to wrap around the entire lake and be kind of the supplier to the top area of the build, which was obviously where my starter base was. But I wanted to add movement to the build so that something was visually intriguing to look at without me being there or without villagers being there, because that's, you know, that's annoying. But again, something that I wanted with this was for all of these buildings to be connected, and although this isn't a project that is done, with this railway, there is a way for all of them to be connected. Honestly, Minecraft is a sandbox game and you can play it any way that you would like, but these are just some of my tips on how you can have a more forever world type of world. Even an area like this, which I don't come down to very often, gave me a lovely project to have something other than just a super smelter in the middle of my base that just kind of sticks out and may have been even more efficient than this, but this is exactly what I needed at the time and it gave me a project. Minecraft is all about having fun and playing it the way that you like, but I hope that these tips helped you if you find yourself stuck in the trap of the 100 days or less. Thank you so much for watching, and if you'd like to see what I do next on this world, I would recommend following my Twitch since that is where I do most of my building on this world. Thank you again, and good luck in your Minecraft worlds.